It's Wednesday, just an hour earlier because we like to switch things up on people unannounced. But we do this every Wednesday. This is Kevin Petersen. How are you?
I'm doing just great, thanks. How are you, sir?
I am hanging in there. Just seems like a day to be like off. I was off all day, so maybe this will get me some mental clarity. Just being around the family whisperer himself. So maybe you can cut through my brain fog like you do everyone else's. Do it. I do this all the time. He loves it. Go creep on him on Instagram, Kevin W. Petersen. Family coaching, just reaching out, free resources, chronichope.us. Facebook group, Chronic Hope. I just reminded that we've got to do another backdrop, so I'll put that on my list to do. But all kinds of things. Go see Kevin Petersen, Chronic Hope Institute. Kevin, it's another week. We have got some questions. Are you ready?
I'm sharing this to all the groups, letting people know we're doing it. And I am ready. What do you got for me, Jay?
Well, first off, is there anything on your mind? Is there anything going on? I always tend to ask a little check-in on Kevin Petersen.
Well, what's going on is that, I have the Chronic Hope Institute, right? And so what we do there is we work with families that are struggling with addiction. And, we're here to help, that we check out our webpage, chronichope.us. And there's a little freebie video there where I talk about how to set boundaries. And then the next step is you can set a call with me and we can talk about what you're looking for and how I can help you. And then we can go from there. So, I'm here to help. I want to help people. I love working with families and coaching, and I'm up. Let's go. Let's do it.
Sold. I'll call you tonight.
All right.
17-year-old son seems more isolative. His grades have always been great. His attitude around the house has been great. But he's not interested in hanging out with friends anymore. He's online playing games. Here's a mom that's saying, should I be concerned? Should I step in? Is there anything? She's labeled in the email all three of your categories, so she's well aware of what your kind of three categories are, but she's worried as to, which is something we see all the time, going more online and not really having friends. She said all summer, he's going into senior year in high school. Even in the summer leading up to the school year, it didn't seem like he was as active. It's just more online. What do you got?
So what he's doing is isolating. So the funny thing is, now, especially with the 17-year-old, what we're finding more and more is they'll treat gaming and being online like you and I treated drugs and alcohol, and they actually, when you look at the brains and the brain scans and what's going on, they get the exact same charge or the exact same thing that people were getting from drugs and alcohol. So it's something that you need to take steps into immediately. And obviously, there's a boundary to be set. You can play. There's nothing wrong with playing. Knock yourself out, but you can't spend all day in there. And we're gonna do a limited amount of time. Remember when we were kids and your parents were like, "You can't spend all day watching TV. It's gonna rot your brain," and they were right. And it turns out, and so it's kind of the same thing. You can give a certain amount of time to watch TV or a certain amount of time to play on the online or do whatever. That's fine. But you got to develop those skills of engaging and interacting with others. And I had a client one time that was like, I'm going to be a professional gamer, and these people online, those are my true friends. And her dad and I were like, okay, I don't want to burst your bubble. But great. In order to be design games or do that, you got to go to school and you got to learn how to code. You got to interact with other people. You can't just sit there and play games all day and that makes you a pro. And so you got to kind of have that conversation with them and tell them you love them. But that's not going to work. So you got to set the boundary and you got to be clear and concise with the boundary.
Is there a concern as far as the online community, compared to the age-old going outside and playing, with with friends? I mean, are we today in the time where I think more people have online friends than in real life?
Yeah, we definitely want them engaging in with other people and developing that social skill, which is part of that boundary, right? It's like, no, you're not going to spend 8 or 10 hours a day engaged in this right here, this moment. You're going to actually, the pandemic's been over for a couple of years now, so now it's time to go outside and actually interact with the other humans, and play with the other humans. And I get it that you like playing on the games. I that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's the small portion of your day. The maximum portion of your day is getting outside, getting some sunshine, getting some exercise. The 5 things you got to do, right? You got to have good nutrition. You got to have exercise. You got to have, community and interaction with others, some meditation, and if it's necessary, some therapy, So those are the things that I would say. And it really all starts with the parents just holding the ground and saying, I get it that you like doing this, but we're not doing this. We're going to set a time limit. And how they respond to that is then you have the next conversation of, well, the fact that you're completely blowing out and freaking out tells me that we found something, So yeah, just
Awesome.
Good parenting.
What is a healthy way for me to detach from my daughter's addiction? I'll always pray for her, but the rest of my family has suffered for too long. We're the guardians of her daughter, so it's tough. So here is a mother that is ultimately, I think, came to the realization that, it's the heart of codependency. I mean, she can't wish her daughter sober or well. So she wants a healthy way to detach from someone's addiction.
So this is where in my book that I thought I had here.
Uh-oh.
And I have it over there in a bookshelf. In both my books, I talk about how to set boundaries in 3 categories: drugs and alcohol, work and school, then behavior with the family. So how do you detach with someone? What's that got to do with detaching with someone that's in an active addiction? And I understand the kinship adoption. I spent 3 years of my career engaging in that world, and God bless you for taking care of that child. So the detachment comes from basically what my parents said to me. We love you. You're our only son, but we don't believe a word out of your mouth. We think you're a liar, a cheat, and a thief, and a drug addict, and an alcoholic. And until you're ready to get help, we're going to put up this giant boundary with you. We still love you. And we're not throwing you out in the deep end of the pool and hoping that you swim. We're making it clear. You want to have coffee? We'll meet you on neutral ground. You want to have lunch? We'll meet you and go to Chipotle and but we're not giving you money. We're drawing the line. We're not giving you money. And you're such a tornado. You do so much destruction that it's just not healthy for us to have you around. It's not healthy for us to have you in the house or be with the family or go to events. So that's how you detach, is that you make a statement and to make a declaration, and then you follow through with that statement and that declaration with action and that action. So now, okay, that's the easy part, right? That's like when people say, the easy part in AA is quitting drinking. The hard part is how do you live, and so it's the same thing for the family. It's the boundaries are actually not the hard part. The hard part is how do you not spend all day wondering what's going on, and what I can tell you, which is with that, what you need to do there is that's where you got to take care of you. That's where my repetitious statement of the best thing you can do to support somebody else's recovery is to get into your own recovery. Get focused on you. Take care of you. Take care of that child. Do what you need to do. Go to therapy. Go to the yoga. Go to the gym. Start doing healthy lifestyle things for yourself. Make good choices for yourself, and make yourself the priority. And that will actually be the best thing you can do, because that will set the example, and you'll be showing it to the other person that this is what I'm talking about. And until you're ready to come on board, you're going to have to sit over there. And that really is, it's the hardest thing a parent will ever do. But I swear to God, it's the only thing that works. It's literally the only thing that works.
Yeah. I think the word detach, which was her words. I mean, there's no truer words that. I mean, there is detachment, and we said it. I think we say it every week almost. I mean, there's a loud statement in doing your own work and setting healthy boundaries to the person in active addiction. That very well could be something that says like, "Hey, I need to get my butt in gear and start doing something." It may not, but to put in healthy boundaries and detachment, I think is just a proper word for it all. So
yeah, that's the bottom line.
Weekly viewer, love the show. It's not my mom, so I think we must have another one.
We have
up
two.
To two. We're up to two. My daughter, 26, has always suffered with being overweight. I saw a commercial about a diet that concentrates on psychology of dieting. I think this is new. I think I know exactly what she's talking about. This led her, the mom, to believe that her daughter may be suffering from addiction, from food addiction. So she's more specifically just asking, like, food addiction, is this real? Is this, I mean, like, What are the steps? All this.
It is. I mean, so here's the thing. And I mean, thanks for watching. Thanks for being one of our two people. That's amazing.
My mom and her, we're up to two.
I feel so honored. When it comes to eating disorders or food addictions, boy, I'll tell you how it was described to me when I first got to AA by a woman that I knew who was sober, but also struggled with eating disorders. She said, I want you to picture if when you came to AA, what they told you was, you have to take a shot 3 times a day in order to continue living. And I was like, huh? And she's like, for someone who's got an eating disorder, being told that you have to eat food 3 times a day or whatever is like telling an alcoholic you have to drink 3 times a day, but it's got to be controlled. I mean, I said, that sounds awful. She's like, that's how it feels for us. So your daughter's 26. She's struggling. Get her help. Get her the help that she needs. Find someone that specializes in eating disorders, and understand that the food is really just the symptom. It's not the issue. I mean, it's the issue. It's like alcohol. We always say in AA that the bottle was just a symptom or a symbol. The true issue is going on inside of her, of how she feels about herself. So there's the shame. There's probably trauma. I mean, there's probably so much going on inside your daughter that she's just, she needs help unlocking that from someone who's a professional and understands. And, she might even need inpatient treatment, and she might need an IOP, but she definitely needs a specialist that understands eating disorders and can help her unlock that. And I want to be really clear with you when it comes to this. Meeting with someone every 2 weeks online is not going to solve the problem. She needs to start seeing someone weekly in person, if not more. The eating disorders are so intense, and you can't. It's not like, oh, I'll swing by once a week and we'll chat it up for a little bit. That doesn't work. This is something you got to jump in all the way and really dig into. But what it really requires on your part as the mom is lots of love and kindness and support, and helping her through the situation. And it's that's the reality. The food is the outward manifestation of what's going on inside of her, inside her soul, and that's what really needs to be worked on.
It's day altering. I mean, like eating disorder. I'm not even going to claim that I know anything. I mean, but it's just a different way of thinking about really everything. I mean, preparing food to eating. I mean, again, I don't want to get into it, but it would. I mean, it's daily altering. I don't think you can talk with someone every 2 weeks. Absolutely not. This is have an open dialogue with her. So
much of eating disorders is about, trauma and control. And, this is the only thing that I can physically control. And so, I guarantee you there's all sorts of stuff. And so get her the help she needs, and then let her do her thing.
Well, I do it. I mean, food as a solution, so prevalent in my life. So anyway, I need to change myself. So
Amen.
You and I both can make a commitment, girl. I'm clean and sober for 3 years now. Praise God. Was in active addiction from most of my two daughters' lives that are 17 and 22. I made appropriate amends and continue to just give them space. Here is a mom, 3 years sober, kind of asking for, I would say, advice as to, kind of slipping into, she says it in her email. She has no right to say I'm your mom, but wants to kind of be a positive influence on their two daughters' lives. Any suggestions or insights or stories?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think the most important thing for you is just to continue to take care of yourself, continue to do what you're doing. Here's the thing. When I first got sober, I was a total knucklehead. I was like writing letters to all the people I owed money, including my parents. And I was like, it was like a form letter because that's how many people I owed money to, businesses, people. And I sent one to my dad, right? And my dad was like, yeah, I've heard this before, sure. This is cute. And what mattered was just showing up. So there's three things: consistency, accountability, transparency. Consistency. I just showed up. I paid the $10 a month to everybody I owed money to until magically it all went away. Accountability. I was just like, here's the deal. I told them this is what's up. This is what's going on. This is what I'm doing. And I was held accountable. And then the transparency of, I was just really open about everything. Like, here's the situation. This is where I'm at. This is how much money I make. And I'm just going to pay you back as quickly as I can. And there were a lot of people that were like, sure. And over time, either I won them over or they just disappeared, which was fine. But that's really what it comes down to, especially with family members or close friends. The best thing you can do is just continue to take care of you, be sober, work the steps, live the program, and the miracle will happen. I can't guarantee you that your daughters will take you back as their mother, but what I can tell you is that you will always be available to them and you will always be there for them because you will be sober. And that in itself is what they're looking for. I know that I've seen that over and over and over. And I'm like, with my family, my sister, my parents are dead now. My sister and my nieces and my brother-in-law, that's the deal, right? When they call, I pick up the phone. When they need something, I go get it. When it's, I don't hesitate, right? And that's the drill. That's called being a family member and being reliable. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is that, you just have to continue to take care of you, make yourself available. And when they ask, you do it. When my grandfather died, this was really funny. I was a year sober. Wasn't funny. I was a year sober. And my mom's dad passed away. And my sponsor said, are you going to fly up there? I'm like, yeah, they're going to fly me up for the services and this whole thing. And And I said, okay. He said, okay, here's the deal. Your mom's going to be on full freak out. This is her dad. Okay. So just do whatever she asks. I don't care what it is. I don't care if she wants you to fold clothes, do the dishes, rake the lawn, just do what the hell she asks. And don't argue. And I'm like, okay. So I go home, I fly home, I get there and I'm like, Mom, is there anything? People are going to come over after the services because there's something I can do. And she's like, yeah, I really need you to clean out the garage and sweep out the driveway. And I was like, what the fuck does that have? Okay. No problem. And I did it. I was just like, this is fucking stupid, but I did it. And afterwards she's like, thank you so much. That just meant so much to me. And I was like, no problem. So that was that moment where it wasn't my job to do anything other than be her sober son and follow directions. Same thing with this woman and her kids. They'll show up eventually and they'll ask you for something. And at that moment, you have to be willing to say, okay, I got that. Or here's what I can do, you know. So long answer to a short question.
I was told to show up and surrender the outcomes. I mean, don't have this preconceived like you wouldn't need this or anything. And to this day, like you were saying, as I show up, no matter if it's family, nephews, you know, brothers, mom, dad, just show up and don't surrender the outcome. I'm not thinking about what I can get out of it or what, you know, are they going to start trusting me more or anything. It's just naturally happened by me just showing up, period. You know, it's just.
Because, I mean, I was 27 when I got sober. They were used to 27 years of one poor behavior situation. You know, I mean, just repeated. I mean, it was really funny when I got, when I hang out with my sister and her friends, you know, I'm 59, she's younger. and they're always like, how come you never asked us out in high school? I'm like, oh no. There was a very strong line, you know, you will not date any of my friends. I've seen what you do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No. I'm like, fine. So they were off limits because of my poor behavior, you know, and so I, you know, got it. You know, that was the deal. So, I mean, I understood. She's like, you know, even my wife, when she met my wife, when we were my girlfriend, then for the first time, she's like, yeah, she was nice, but you know, and Amy, my wife, is like, yeah, your sister put me on the sidelines for about 3 months. And my sister's like, well, I didn't know if she was going to last. I mean, you know, it's you, Kevin. I mean, come on, you know. And I'm like, what are you trying to say? Now they're like best friends, you know. And she's like, well, I didn't want to get attached and have you blow it again. I'm like, so I get it, you know. That like makes perfect sense to me. So
It all happens if you stay sober and stay in recovery and all the principles that are associated. Keep doing it for 3 years. Keep doing it every single day. Just show up, and you'll be shocked at what happens. So
just keep.
That's it.
All right, awesome. What a great! I like our new three questions. Boom.
That's it. I think we had 4 today.
Oh, okay.
All right. See, time flies. You know,
I'm so
like
excited.
you just rattle them off. I mean, it's like you just get in that zone, and it's a sight to be seen. But anyway, we'll do this again next week. And last week I remember someone made a comment that we sure hope the show doesn't go away. So I guess I remember last week we were joking. I can't even remember why. We may not have been. But anyway, we are back. Yeah. Nothing happened. So happy to say it. But
it was that Matt Brown guy. That was the guy.
So I can confidently say I believe we'll be back next week. So Kevin, always a pleasure.
Later, bro.